We've analyzed their attacks, sir, and there is a danger. Should I have your ship standing by?
Evacuate? In our moment of triumph? I think you overestimate their chances.
Rebel base, 3 minutes and closing.
It's a pretty good
Oh,
thing.
that's so funny, dude.
I like it.
Dude,
Okay.
I was looking through the script and it said like 5 minutes, 3. I was like, holy shit, they said it a lot. At least in the script, it has to be in there.
Lots of minutes. You know, minute here, minute
Very
there.
funny.
You know, fire in space, explosions, fireballs,
Fire in
always.
space.
And
Well, let's dig into that because
We can get into it. But let's start the show.
let's burn some Ewoks right here.
Yeah.
Episode 12 of the Burning Ewok podcast. I am your ever-loving host, Justin Grants, and with me as always,
Chuck
and
the dog, and Dan.
Chuck and Dan. Welcome,
All right.
boys. It's been 2 weeks.
Well,
So,
yeah, I've been sick. That's my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
he's been...
Blame myself.
Yeah. You know, I've been kind of feeling weird lately, too. So a lot's going around. I know 2 people have got, at least 2 people that have COVID right now. It's that summertime of sickness, you know, it just
I
happens.
hate summer colds are the worst. I went outside. This is a true story. I went outside because it was like 90 degrees outside, and I was just sitting out there, just like enjoying the heat. And then the wind like blew through my yard, just a light breeze, and I got the chills. I hate summer sickness. It's the worst.
Do you ever try ant therapy?
Ant therapy. So like, I don't know, go roll around on anthills.
Basically,
Yeah.
what you do,
Yeah.
you put one arm on the anthill,
Uh-huh.
you know, lay in the
Okay.
grass, just lay in the grass, and
Uh-huh.
just allow them to crawl on your arm. I'm
You're
dead serious.
full of shit, dude. What are you talking about?
You're totally making it up.
I was with you for a second, though. I was like, wait a minute.
it's just a holistic treatment.
Ant therapy. Tell me more. All right. Let's just get our Diablo update out of the way. We've been starting with Diablo updates, and let's just like roll with that again. So Dan, give us the Diablo update.
So latest patch hit on Monday, right? A lot of angst from people who don't play barbarians or sorcerers. Well, actually sorcerers still, but they basically buffed sorcerers, rogues a little bit. Sorry, not sorcerers, barbarians, rogues, and Necro. I don't think Necro's got much of a boost, but druids and sorcerers got left behind. Whirlwind barbarians pretty much where it's at, you know. And then once you get to a certain point, go to bash and rend, make things bleed. It makes it easy mode. I think that they had a point to doing it. I think it was basically certain builds. They want all builds to be able, all like the big builds of all the classes to be able to get to the pit level 60. Because that's where you can farm materials for the Uber uniques, which are, you have to have those to do any end game content. You can't do the end game content without that.
Gotcha. So Chuck,
Cool.
what was your big Diablo news?
Well, I finished the campaign.
Oh, look at you!
I don't know. There was a big. This is a true story. I came home.
Oh, Chucky's all grown up now.
I came home a little bit.
Grows up and all grows up and all grows up.
I came home just a little early on that Wednesday because I was already starting to feel a little sick, and I'm like, I'll just sit down and play some Diablo, and I finished it. And then
Nice.
woke up the next day feeling worse, and I didn't touch any video games. So,
All right. Well,
I don't know if you, this.
I
don't know
play
if
a
you
little bit here, a little bit there. I'm level 89, so I'm
Ooh.
slowly creeping my way up to 100. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but Maybe.
89's close.
It's close. I just do I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't go online and like check out builds and stuff. I should probably
I'm
do
not
that
even.
and speed it up so I can save myself some time. But I just kind of like doing my little pew pew with the arrows, and it
I'm
seems to
like
work.
barely up to like 55, maybe 56, and I'm like, it's taking so long.
Well, now you
So
can join
long.
into one of our games, and it'll be really
it'll
quick.
speed up. Yeah,
We can
yeah,
ramp
yeah.
you up really fast.
Yeah.
Cool,
So,
cool.
all right, yeah. So that's
Yeah,
Diablo. Anything else there?
Oh, hey, I did want to mention something. I noticed right after we had talked about this on the show, you said you weren't seeing goblins, like the treasure goblins. I started seeing them everywhere. I must have killed 3 or 4 or 5 every time I played. It was crazy. It was right after you said that too.
Yeah, well, the goblin, it was like the anniversary event, right? They had the goblins everywhere, they definitely turned the meter up on them, but the event's over and goblins are scarce again, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that was cool.
I did one dungeon after our cast, and I went into a nightmare dungeon, and there was a room, and a room had 4 goblins in it, and it was just like rained
Whoa,
everywhere. That was fun. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
brought back memories of Diablo 3.
every once in a while, I'd see like 3 portals in the right at the edge of the screen, and I'd run towards them. And they were just closing.
Did you ever run into the problem where you would like teleport back to your city and it would kick you out of the game?
No,
Dude, it happened to me all the time, and it was bugging me too, because if I would leave treasure and I would, on the ground or whatever, and I would jump back and it would kick me out of the game, I'd lose the treasure that was sitting there.
If it was legendary, it'll end up in your stash.
Oh, really?
If it's just blue or gold or yellow stuff,
I
who
usually
cares?
dumped that stuff onto the ground and picked up the import. Yeah, the good stuff.
Did you make it to World Tier 3 or World Tier 4 yet?
I'm not on World Tier 3 at all. No.
So
okay. We got to get him through the capstone. He's a high enough level he could do the capstone.
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure that out. We'll get you going.
And Hammer's playing now too, so we can get a party 4.
Yeah, he was playing right now.
That would be cool.
He was online right now. I saw
that's
that.
cool, man. I haven't even talked to that guy in a long time.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows how to use a headset though, so we'll see.
That's fine. We don't know. It's fine.
I like making jokes in the public forum at his expense when he can't be here to defend himself.
Maybe we could have him on as a guest someday.
We did a long time ago. I think he was on a couple of our Lost podcasts. I think he was on the Lost finale one.
Oh, that was
He's got a good radio voice, so
He does.
He just doesn't use it. So we gotta get him on. We should force him to use it more. It'd be a good one. All right. Let's see. Start a couple new shows.
Okay.
What we do in the shadows.
Oh, that show's amazing.
Oh, you've been watching it?
I've watched like the first couple seasons.
Okay,
I don't know.
so I'm already in season 2.
I've kind of hit because I was just over at my brother-in-law's and he was watching them and I was watching them with him. So I don't know how many freaking episodes I watched. But
yeah, pretty good.
It was like one. Yeah.
Just wanted to do a quick shout out on that one.
So funny. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of harkens back to the stuff that we were talking about just a few weeks ago, and that's why I wanted to bring it up about like humor in types of comedy. And I know this isn't the film format, but it's one of those ones up there where it's such absurdism, and it's really refreshing. When we were talking about, it's like, yeah, there's funny, but it's also serious. It's like there's no serious in this whatsoever. So I did, and I also watched Crime Wave, the movie that we talked about last podcast that I didn't know how to look up on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah,
I watched it twice now. So
wow.
Yeah, I watched it once on my own, and then I forced my family to watch it, and they all liked it too.
Cool.
So when I found out why Sam Raimi hates it, I re-educated myself on it. So it's his second feature film. He wanted to cast Bruce Campbell as the main character.
Okay.
And the studio told him no, he can only play the heel. So he didn't like that. And then when he finished the movie and put it together and submitted it, the studio took it and re-edited the whole thing. So he wants nothing to do with it. It's, he doesn't feel like it's his movie. It's still great. And it's still, a lot of Raimi stuff is in there. So
you would think that, and I mean, granted, maybe at the time, no, but you would think he would have been able to just say, fuck you, I'm doing whatever I want.
Not then. He couldn't do it.
I feel like creators have more power now than they had back then.
Man, it
Maybe
depends.
it's just
It depends.
yeah,
Depends on what you're doing. I mean,
yeah.
if you're working a group of collaborators, sure, you can kind of get away with that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you're working for Disney and you're going to put out a Marvel show,
Yeah, I guess that's
you're not gonna be able to like be like, well, I'm just gonna throw Deadpool in there. You
yeah. You
can't.
can't.
I mean,
No,
they're gonna make you do certain things. You're gonna have to abide by certain rules. But
yeah,
I
that
figure in a
makes
movie
sense.
that's written by the Coens and then directed by that
Yeah,
they would be able. But nobody knew like these they're dealing with geniuses here. Studios probably weren't ready for whatever he put together. I would love to see the original cut of it though.
it
Anyway,
is. It is weird though how sometimes you'll have like super oversight where they're like, yeah, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, and then sometimes they'll just like, do whatever you want. Just like there seems to be no rhyme or reason to why it is that way.
yeah, and the thing is, like when you watch it, oh, Dan, you were looking it up, and you're like, yeah, the original is called Broken Hearts Noses. That's the
Mm,
title of the movie on the. They did change the title. It's called Crime Wave when you look it up and when you start it up, but the actual title card on the movie says Broken Hearts and Noses.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Little tidbit there for y'all. Anyway, on Amazon Prime, watch it. Um,
Did we ever talk? Speaking of movies like lost movies, did we ever talk about that movie I was telling you about on the cast? I don't know if I was. We were talking about it in our chat. New York Ninja. Did you ever watch that?
I didn't watch it, but we talked about it. Yeah.
New
Okay,
York Ninja.
so you gotta watch this.
Yeah.
So they found this film, and it's terrible, right? So they found this film, the movie. It was shot in 1984, and they found the film, but it had no soundtrack, no audio. So they got they got these people together, and they decided, I don't know why, but they got these guys together and they overdubbed it, the whole thing.
This looks
And
amazing.
yeah, and it is so spectacularly bad.
I
And it's all these like 1980s, 1990s kung fu and karate movie action stars that do the voices.
didn't they make
And
a sequel to
it's
it?
Don Wilson does the voice for the lead.
Is there a
They
sequel
don't
to it?
even, no,
No.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
This is from like 2021. They did this.
Yes. This
Oh,
is,
okay.
and
Okay.
it's all available online. You can, I want to say it was like Amazon or something, but I think it's on YouTube also, and it is
Nice.
so
Oh shit!
fantastically bad.
It looks good.
Yeah. So watch it in sometime in the next couple of weeks, and we'll come back to it.
I bet you my older son's already watched it because, like most other Gen Zs, they love to watch terrible things.
They do.
And they love to play. Yeah, it's like one of the things I noticed. I walked downstairs and both my sons are playing a dodgeball game. And it's a dodgeball game with broken physics that some kid put together, put out on Steam for free.
Mhm.
It's terrible. The game doesn't work. It's broken. But they find that hysterical because they'll
Okay.
play the game, it breaks, and they actually did a bracket and like a bunch of them got together and had a tournament with this
That's
terrible
crazy.
Steam game that has broken physics, and they play all these games. It's just like you look at like the Goat game or like what's that one where just like everything is like just like break stuff when the games that they play, and I find it so funny because I'm like, guys, like we started with games that were just broken and like we did everything we could to make them better, and then like got to the point where they were making like Half-Life and Halo and Call of Duty and these like top tier games that are like really polished and they don't break, and like Legend of Zelda, like there's no bugs, it's great, or very few, and you guys continue to just play this garbage that it's like when my kid was when they're babies and they're like, oh, we got to get them toys. It's just like, just give them a toilet paper roll,
Yeah.
like an empty toilet paper roll, and they'll play with that, chew on it, and yell through it.
Yeah, but you have to understand, our kids, they grew up with the polished stuff. So
yeah, I know. Spoiled
to come
brats.
across the broken stuff is funny. It's
They're
fun.
spoiled idiots. Whatever.
New York Ninja,
New York
Paramount
Ninja.
Plus. It's on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh, I have.
all
Oh,
right, I got
Do
Paramount
it up
Plus.
in between
Oh.
your next Halo episodes or whatever it is you're gonna
all right, I
Nice.
texted my daughter because her cousin loves this kind of junk.
Yeah,
So.
Awesome.
It's pretty crazy. There is, just to let you know, if you watch it with your daughter, there is like a quasi sexual assault sex scene in there.
Well,
So,
it's from the 80s, right?
it is. It's like the 80s. You know,
I can't believe some of the shit we watched in the 80s. We're like, what the hell? Like, oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you that warning there, but it does have a 96% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So on
Ooh.
23
Ooh,
reviews.
that takes me to a really good segue. If you guys are ready to dive in,
Are we going to talk about the Acolyte bombing?
Let's
here?
talk about review bombing. Here we go.
Well, I mean, after watching 4 episodes of Acolyte, I don't think it's bombing. I think it's bombed. It's so terrible.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
It's awful.
I mean,
It's so
I
dumb.
disagree with Brett. I disagree with you, Justin, that it's not. It's great. I mean, it's not great. But it's not like I don't see the
It's
reason
not terrible.
for all the hate.
It's
Yeah,
not.
but
Yeah,
I don't-
that's the thing.
I
Okay,
don't see the
okay.
reason.
Just because I say it's not terrible, like Dan just said, doesn't mean I think it's the best thing Star Wars
Well,
has ever done. And that's here we go. This is my argument with everything we talk about. It's like it's either the worst thing or the best thing, and there's no more talk about nuance anymore. So
I don't think it's the worst
let's talk
thing,
about the
but
nuance right now.
it is dumb. I mean, it's just it
Well,
is gone.
let's talk about
so
the
bad.
dumb. Talk about the dumb.
Okay.
You said you were going to rewatch those first 2 episodes.
I didn't even bother because
That's not fair. Because I went and rewatched them both,
Yeah,
and I have comments
to.
to talk about all the dumb in the first 2 episodes.
All right, let's talk about it.
I think there are 2 scenes that. Well, I'm going to give the fire. I don't care about the fire in space.
I was gonna go there right away. The campfire in space is what they're calling it.
Yeah, I don't care because this is also a place where there's fireballs in space all the time and whatever. And Star Wars physics don't work. I mean, in The Empire Strikes Back, Han, Leia, and Chewbacca walk out of their spaceship in an asteroid. They think they're on an asteroid and the little mask thing over their face, and they're fine. They don't even know they're inside of another creature.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they figured that out later.
Yeah, they figure it out by shooting the ground. And
No.
all they're wearing is a little mask, so it's not like walking around in space is like it doesn't qualify. So I don't even care about that part.
No. I think
We need somebody to splice Alan Rickman from Die Hard when he says shoot the glass. and shoots the ground in Empire Strikes Back. It's just so bad. Come on,
Okay, that's enough to break our show.
Come on, it's so dumb. And then we get an interpretive dance. I mean,
that's enough. That breaks everything for you.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Oh.
Let's not even talk about.
Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So
with the fire thing, I'm gonna. This is what I've watched a lot of. Like I've had nothing to do but sit on the frickin' couch and watch YouTube.
yeah, spoilers. If
I've
you're
watched
listening,
a lot.
Here come the spoilers.
There's fire in space, guys. Spoiler number 1.
You can have fire in space.
The
by
thing
the way,
is,
you know
like,
that,
you
right?
can have fire in space. So, like, there's oxygen in the ship, leaving the ship, whatever. There are explosions in space, but you have to admit the explosions in like Star Wars, like let's say I don't know the Phantom Menace or whatever, when a ship explodes or whatever. That's cool. That like adds to like the coolness of the scene. That fire in that particular scene does break the scene. It is just like you're like, wait, what the hell? Is she outside? Like immediately you're just like, wait, something's not right. Now, if like shit was blowing up and like then you saw flames shoot out, like like when like the Millennium Falcon shoots out of the side of the Death Star or whatever, and the flames and everything, and that guy goes woo ha 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 or whatever. Like I don't know. It's just it's just I think
you can have fire in space though, right?
No, you can have fire in space, yeah.
You can
but
have fire in
doesn't
space.
burn. It doesn't burn.
It would be like a orb.
It would be like an orb, yeah.
Bulbous, like plasma ball looking fiery thing. But you could make the argument that since they have gravity on every single type of ship in Star Wars, that fire works kind of the same way when it's on the ship.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes.
Okay. Not a game breaker by any stretch. Okay. The only thing I really had an issue with, and I'm going to agree with Dan from the first 2 episodes, is the prison ship. That they would let somebody with force powers just be on a ship and let it fly off with robots taking them.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you guys on
Also,
that, yeah.
it is a completely separate ship, and it's like when you said they leave on the same ship and whatever. It's not. You totally missed that. They fly in on the one. It's a completely different ship. They actually talk about a prison ship that they're going to send her on and everything. If you go back and rewatch.
Interesting though. Okay, I mean that's.
You were supposed to rewatch it so we could have this discussion, though. So anyway, I'm gonna stop right there, and we're just gonna go on to the chanting witches. We're gonna start on episode 3, which you said was supposed to be the banger episode, and I'm gonna agree.
It's either gonna be the best or the worst,
and it's not. And my guess is episode 7, I think it is directed by the same person. Is going to be the episode that's going to be the counterpoint to episode 3. Because Dan, take us away. Tell us tell us about episode 3 and why it's so dumb and why it's so terrible.
So, I mean, there are hunted across the universe.
I'm giving you this entire platform to talk about why it's bad.
You realize that he's giving you rope to hang yourself with right now.
No,
you should say
he can have this opinion. I'm fine with it because there are problems with the episode. He's not wrong. There are problems with the episode, and I think the problem. I'll just say right now. I think the problem comes into bad acting on one of the child actors. I don't like any of May's deliveries as a child. I think it's kind of terrible. I think the overdub of the chanting, while dumb, I don't really see it any different than chanting in any church I've ever been into. It's the same stuff. I think the sound that they use to make it actually come out of the soundtrack instead of actually be like within the environment makes it weird and off-putting. But that being said, I think it's also an editing issue that I think is because of its Rashomon roots. Because we're seeing everything from the perspective of one character. We have no idea what happened. Later on, we're going to get the other half of it, which pieces everything together. So again, I have a hard time damning the entire thing without seeing the thing as a whole, but I'm going to let you tell me why it's dumb.
Well, the fire is dumb. The chanting along with the interpretive dance. This is like this ascension ceremony that they're going through, and like it looked like there was going to be some kind of showdown between the two moms, because I don't know. It's just like it was going to be like this big ordeal, and then it ended up being a chant and a dance and a flash of the moon in the distance or the sun in the distance, or whatever, And I didn't know. I'm like, are they going to throw these girls into this pit and like they have to force lift themselves up or what? Because that might have been kind of cool. Just kind of like, it made zero sense. I mean, like, what are they going to do with bows against Jedi? I mean, they know the Jedi. They've been hunted by them. They got some kind of, like, kryptonite.
They didn't say they were hunted by Jedi. They didn't say they were hunted by Jedi.
Yes, they did.
No, they said that they've been forced out by many different groups because what they have been deemed as something that is unnatural, which is a reflection off of what Palpatine says to Anakin from episode 3, if you remember. So they didn't necessarily say the Jedi, because also at this time, there's many different factions of Force users. None that are Sith that are known of, but many different types of Force, like similar to Muslims and Buddhists and Christians and Jews and Taoists and Hindus. It's all spread out in different factions and different things. So a lot of people look at Jedi and be like, "What do you guys think? What makes you guys so special?" That's kind of the lore of this time period we're in.
Yeah,
that's so interesting though, because I didn't know that particular background.
And they don't do a good job explaining that. I'll admit that.
I had to assume it because I was like, why would they let this girl leave the order? Because like I thought the whole thing was if the Jedi were aware of Force-sensitive individuals, they went out and collected them and trained them so that they would use their powers in good ways, or ways that the Jedi deem are good, in order to protect the eventuality that a Sith would return.
But that's how it is. That's how it is during Episode 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
so,
like 100
so the
years.
Jedi are going out. They're like the Force. The Jedi are the Force, and they're more militant also. We're in a time right now in the High Republic where they're not militant. They're like chilling and getting fat on planets. They're doing whatever. But there's no they're not a standing military ready to act on something like they are in the Phantom Menace.
They're not like the super.
They're ready to go to war in Attack of the Clones. Like they're ready, and they're ready to become the generals of that. Where during the High Republic, it seemed a little bit more lax, and I think possibly this might be one of the reasons that they get more locked down on a little too old to be training. Like we're not training Anakin because too old. But we're gonna kind of watch them.
That, right? That's another dumb thing in Episode 3, right? Carrie-Anne Moss's character says something to Soul, right? Something about, oh, they're too young or they're too old. And then they confront the witches, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I was much younger when I trained. Are you kind of come with us? It's like,
I agree 100%. Yeah. So, the whole why were the Jedi there? Why did they even care that these girls were there? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
There's some kind of ban on them having children.
The witches?
Yes, because they said that you are not allowed to have kids. You have children here. We're here for your children. And there was a conversation between the two moms about the way they conceived of the daughters.
Right.
Good thing they didn't find out about that,
Well, right.
Okay, so what do you think that is then?
That's got to tie into...
Instead of just being stupid, what do you think that is?
That has to tie into
thing that we'll find out about.
So Plagueis and Emperor Palpatine, the whole thing was they were trying to manipulate the Force in order to extend life or to bring people back, right? So like they could control maybe their lives or the lives of people around them, right? And the reason Anakin is the chosen one is because the Force itself recognized there was an imbalance now, and that imbalance forced the midichlorians to create somebody to the prophetic chosen one to come and bring balance back to the Force, right? So what these witches have done is they have used the Force to create life, which is what initially offsets the balance of the Force, and that's what
they've manipulated wants. Something. Yes, they've manipulated it though.
Yes,
it wasn't like and so is this because of the rise of the Sith that we're seeing, or are one of those witches actually possibly one of those Sith? Because again, I'm going to go back to.
Cool.
I have to jump around a little bit, so I'm going to jump around back to 2, where we have. I got their names written down too. So shoot, I can't even read my handwriting. Kinar is the guy who is helping May along. Like, oh yeah, and obviously we know he's like up to something. They make it super obvious in the 4th episode. Yeah. My guess is, like my prediction was that he was he was going to be the biggest baddie, and the dude in the mask is the actual apprentice of that guy. I'm not so sure anymore after the last episode. I think it just turns out that this guy is him. And what if one of the witches is the actual Sith? And that's the one who saved May. And that's the one who saved May. And that's the one who... Because I think we saw the one mother dead in episode 3, but we didn't see the Zabrak, which is Darth Maul's species. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the mothers was of that species, which do have a connection to... Well, I think it's Dathomir and the witches there. later
Mhm.
on with the Clone Wars and
Yeah.
everything in that series. So there's that connection there. Um, but as far as like if it's like I don't know. I'm not just gonna go say it's dumb or it's great. I'm gonna say it's inconclusive right now. So it's
Let's
like
talk let's talk
I don't know,
about
man. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's dumb, and here's why. Okay, just watch episode 3 and tell me the music is garbage. Like the soundtrack is not good. It's like maybe like I said in our chat, it's a weak Voyager episode all day long. It's not, the music isn't good, the set isn't great, and then the dialogue is abysmal. Like when Yoda is teaching Luke about the Force, and he's like, it's the flesh, and it's like it's around us, and da da da. It sounds legit. You're like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, like you as a kid listening to this, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
like when sand is rough and it's coarse and it gets all over.
Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when Luke.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm like, I like all the dialogue in Star Wars is just amazing, and this has like a really high bar that I must live up to.
I'm not. I never was. I'm just saying.
I mean, like, what are we doing here? If we're gonna criticize Star Wars for its dialogue and line delivery, I mean,
when it comes to like core, whatever. Belief structure of these people, it needs to sound legitimate. And I feel like the witches came across as stupid. Like she's like, oh, the power of one and the power of two, and I'm like, I didn't even understand any of that. Like when she like pushed the one person, I was like, okay, and then she pushed two people, I was like, the fuck is this? What is she even talking about? Like, what is she even talking about? I had no idea. I'm like, it didn't make any sense to me. And maybe that's because I'm a 50-year-old white male American. I don't know. Like, maybe it makes sense more to my girls.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, and let's talk about the ending, right? Let's talk about all of a sudden, May wants to be a witch. Osha wants to be a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt May's gonna frickin' murder her, burn her to death, right? What kind of turn is this? Like, doesn't that seem a little bit extreme for the context of the story?
I feel like everybody forgot how to watch narratives. Like, because we didn't get like all 8 episodes at once, and you get to sit them in one sitting and see everything and get like an answer right away. Like, don't you think there is like another half to that story, and that's why you're not seeing that?
No, I don't.
And I'll agree with, like, if it turns out that she just decides, hey, I'm just going to burn you. I love you. Oh, you're going to leave. I'm going to murder you. And that's it. And if that's what it is, I'll agree. I will go on this podcast and say, not good. That's not good. But if you see that there's some manipulation in the following episodes that bring that back, it's just like, it's a mystery. It's designed to be like not giving you all the information at once and then later give you clues. It's like watching Glass Onion, the first half of it being, this is stupid. Because like what like there's a dead body over there, and like obviously it's like this guy, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's like
I think the only thing that we're not seeing is what happened in the rest of the temple, because a lot of people right now are assuming that the fire killed all the witches, right?
No, you're not. No, you're not. Nobody is, because they're not even burned. I'm not even assuming that May started that fire.
No, I know May started the fire.
No, you don't. You don't. You see her burn a book, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, all the walls start on fire, and everybody's complaining, "Wow, the stone walls are on fire." We don't know why yet. We didn't. They didn't show. Like, is it force fire? Is it something else? I mean, it could be a million different things.
You are assuming that this show is a lot smarter than it is, and it is not this smart.
And if it isn't, I'll eat my words later. I'll eat my words. If episode 8 finishes,
the showrunner, it does Frozen. Like she did Frozen.
She also did Russian Dolls, which is something that shows bits and pieces in a very similar. And she also said that this is based in things like Rashomon. Have you seen Rashomon?
No.
Do you know what the Rashomon is, though?
No, this is dumb. I'm just telling you, this
Okay.
is not going to get better.
You
It's
know what?
not going to
Okay,
get
so
better.
the story of Rashomon is a story of 3 different stories based on the same thing. So a woman is raped and murdered, and it tells this perspective. Maybe she's not murdered. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a horrendous crime happens to this woman. There's somebody who was nearby that saw it. He tells his perspective. And then the person that's accused of the crime tells their perspective. And it completely shows the movie again from a different perspective, shows it again, and then it finally shows it from the spirit of the woman, showing the truth of the movie. The showrunner said that this is heavily based in Rashomon. So when I hear something like that, I'm going to automatically assume that, oh, we don't have all the details on purpose. And if it comes by that it's not that smart, then I'm like, yeah, then I was lied to, and I'll be the first one to admit it here. But for you to automatically just jump all over it is just like, well, I don't know,
smart.
like what? Because what you're getting mad about, I mean, you get mad about the dumbness of the witches and the
I'm
soundtrack.
not mad. I
That's
just
fine.
think it's dumb, and I will give you the next example of why it's dumb. Because when May's falling off of a platform, all the Jedi has to do is use the Force to catch her. I mean, we've now seen that you can catch a laser bolt, you can lift the whole frickin' spaceship,
Okay.
but you can't pick up a little girl and keep her from falling into the pit of fire.
I actually had that in my notes.
It's so dumb.
No, and the reason I had it in my notes is they go out of their way in the first episode where May's falling off and he uses the Force to pull her back. They go out of their way this time to show he catches her. They went out of their way both times to put that in there.
Not buying it.
Okay.
Not buying it.
There was some symbolic reason why he didn't catch her with the Force, and like maybe it was because he was weaker, like a weaker Jedi at that point. He was younger. Like there was something. Like I don't know. Was it dumb? Maybe, but like Luke couldn't lift his ship out of the swamp, but Yoda could do it with no problem.
Yeah.
And it's just age and experience and
like,
training.
I don't know I have like no problem like saying like, yeah, like the way they represent witches is dumb, or like this is dumb, but like the plot points that I think are incomplete, I think we have to wait on.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but I still think Dan's opinion on like a lot of it is legit. Like it wasn't done very well. And I think if you want to represent, these witches as this other like elite belief structure, like take 5 minutes and choreograph a freaking ceremony or like.
And I think that criticism's fine.
You had like $280 million to make 8 episodes, and you guys couldn't even like, I don't know, make a chant that didn't just seem like a bunch of women hanging out in a parking lot howling at the moon. Like it didn't. Witches are more. They're not necessarily organized like that. Like they are more like earthly and in touch with. Like I don't know. Watch any like old witch kind of movie or whatever. They're kind of that way. But I don't know. I just felt like I'm like, really? And I don't know. I really felt like that was a weak. I felt like a lot of the stuff for their mother was this stoic, beautiful woman who clearly had power and control, and she was, and I feel like she talked down to everybody, like, which I don't necessarily know is necessarily correct. It could have just been my perception. But I just kind of felt like she was kind of a little arrogant. And like, I don't know. And she didn't come across to me when she was talking to the girls as teaching them anything of any meat. No, like, I don't know. I didn't buy into it. Maybe I'm an adult. And, I don't have the whimsy that I did when I watched Empire as a kid, but
maybe that's why they all got wiped out then.
No, I don't. See, I think
they all got killed.
I mean, I feel like that's the other thing I thought was like, why then would they kill all these people? I didn't think that. I'm like, that's not. I thought that was kind of a dumb move as well. Why'd they wipe out all the witches? Like, I don't know.
Who wiped them out?
I definitely don't believe.
Who wiped them out? Who wiped them out?
I don't know. We don't know that.
Okay,
you hear them. You hear screams and
screams.
You don't know anything.
Yeah.
So, and you want to think it's May, but there's no way it was May. There's no way that little girl killed all these powerful witches, especially her mother.
It's not May.
There's no way. And then, yeah. So.
I don't even think May started that fire that came through that wall.
Here's the thing, though. She did say, "I'll kill you," blah blah blah, or whatever.
She did.
Like, that was a weird transition. Maybe that wasn't even her. Maybe that was a shapeshifter. You know, I don't know.
I don't necessarily think it's going to go. I think it would have to be more rooted in what we already know so far and other possibilities. If they throw a shapeshifter in there. I think that would be really weak storytelling.
That particular,
here's my thoughts, right? Like, if they do as you say, and like, there's another, scene where they go back and show more of the whole,
which they will.
They will.
Yeah. Which, I don't know if the show's smart enough to do that.
Well, the same director has another episode. I'm pretty sure those two episodes are linked.
If they go back and it ends up being some manipulator or whatever, like May leaves and that comes in, I still think it's freaking dumb. It's just done poorly. The dialogue's bad. The acting's not very good. Just the whole presentation of these witches and their backstory it's rushed. It has no meat or substance. It's just not good. I would say, I think I'm putting this in. I'm not a big fan of Mandalorian. I think most of the Mandalorian episodes are not good. I'm going to put this, it says dropped way down below to the bottom of all of the Star Wars shows by far. It's way down at the bottom. That's where it is for me.
Here's the thing. I've watched it and I don't hate it. I don't get where all the hate comes from, because we can talk about some of the whatever ideologies that they've tried to shoehorn in, and they've maybe come across as offensive to some people. I don't know. I didn't find it offensive in any way. I didn't find any of the dial or any of the stuff. I was like, it's fucking space. There's all kinds of different weird people and different life forms and civilizations and things. That's what space is about. You know what I mean? So I didn't find any of it whatever. But I didn't hate any of it. That's the thing. I was like, that was an odd choice. I don't necessarily even think the witches. I'd like, that's cool. There's this new force, but the thread, it was the thread and everything. I'm like, that's kind of an interesting way to look at it. Okay, because
that's the whole life force binds and ties everything together. Right, yeah. It's another take on the whole stuff. Yeah.
I was like, on that, I was like, I totally get that. That seems to be legit. That makes sense to me. Blah blah. But then she was like the power one, the power two, or the power many. I was like, all right, you've lost me on that.
So
you've lost me on that one.
I think. Oh my God! What is the Netflix? There's a Netflix show that kind of goes down that theme of whole mysticism, and it's the power of the many coming together. Oh my gosh! I gotta go look it up. And it's got very similar themes.
Well, while you're looking that up, Chuck, I think you and I are actually pretty close on the entire view on this. It's I definitely do not hate it. I definitely. It's not as bad as it's its worst moments aren't as bad to me as the worst moments of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett yet. So we will see if that continues.
I really like the Obi-Wan, but
I love so much of the Obi-Wan stuff. But at the same time,
maybe I just missed out. Maybe I just didn't realize the bad stuff. But then again,
some of the Princess Leia chase scenes where Flea gets
yeah, I know,
taken out by a brand.
But that's just fun.
But I see this as no different than that. Like it's like
yeah, I understand
like
that.
if you think the
that.
witches like dance kind of dumb, who
Understand
cares?
that.
Like I just move beyond that kind of stuff, and it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. Because let's move on to episode 4 right now. So
Yeah.
episode 4.
That show's the OA, by the way.
Yeah,
I
I
like
know-
that. I really liked that show.
Yeah. It
never
just
watched it.
reminded me of the whole Ascension scene. Reminded me of like their dance that they do to distract the school shooter in the school shooting scene.
That dance though has like some spiritual context that like it can bring people back to life or like stuff. Like I can remember it was really weird and like awkward to watch, but at the same time I was like, it was just such a weird like narrative piece.
It's a good show, but
I liked that show. I hated the way it ended though. I hated that like where it was gonna go. I was like, oh, I'm glad it didn't get renewed because it was gonna be stupid.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say I thought it got canceled. That's why I never watched it. I'm like, oh, it's not like
it starts with like the most horrendously graphic sex scene I've ever seen in a TV show ever. It's like ridiculous because my daughter watched it with me. We're like, let's see what this is, and I'm like, oh my god, like full penetration, like not even joking. And I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. And then like nothing like that ever appeared again. There might have been nudity, like mild nudity, but nothing.
They call that the icebreaker.
I'm like, freaking hey, bro.
That's the attention getter. All right. Anyway, so Kalnaka the Wookiee. Kalnaka the Wookiee. She's got to go kill Kanaka, right? So we're on the planet of Kofar, right?
Yeah.
And see the Wookiee in the beginning. We see the symbols, and the symbols are on the wall. And
I like the witch's symbol.
Was that the same thing that was on her forehead?
Yeah.
That was the same symbol. That's what I thought too. But we don't get a lot of Wookiee action. At least not in this episode.
No, because it got cut for time. It got cut for time.
Cut for time, yeah. I mean, like, I think they left half the episode on the cutting floor or something.
Me and Renee watched it, and I was like, wait, that's the episode? Like, that's the whole of the episode? And like, damn.
I can tell you, the ending scene is the only time in the 4 episodes that as we watched it as a family, everyone said, what? Oh my God, how can you end it right there?
Well, that's why they ended it right
That's
there.
why they ended it right there. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, no. That's exactly why they did it.
Tell me, you guys.
It's getting good.
Huh?
The first time the show is getting good, and they ended it.
Okay, so then
I would agree
it starts
with you.
and it should be. It will keep you to watch the next episode, I'm guessing.
Honestly, I don't. I was going to bring this up. Honestly, if I don't watch the rest of the series, I would not be upset other than not being able to talk about it.
Nope, you got to do it because this is your job now. You have to watch it. Too bad.
Shit, man.
And if you hate it, you hate it. You got to suffer through it, man.
I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not like I'm going to go watch like fucking Dance Moms or something instead,
Some of the reviews, though, I was like, watching, I was like, I should just cancel fucking Disney. Like, this is the worst show ever. And then, like, I watch it and I'm like,
no, it's unbridled incel hate that are just like people.
I disagree with you on that.
No, it's
I don't think
review
it's that at
bombing.
all.
It's review bombing.
All right.
The review bombing.
No, I disagree. I think I highly disagree. There is
no.
definitely
It's the algorithms have already shown that it's been review bombed, similar to many other shows that this happens to. Yeah, it's a concerted effort to do stuff like
this. I disagree with you that it's like just hateful people because I feel like there's like clearly plot points.
Have you met Star Wars fans on the internet?
Yeah,
Star Wars fans hate Star Wars more than anything else. Yes.
Do they though? Your kids love the prequels,
and they're not review bombing this.
Yeah, and are we? No. I'm just saying, like there are clear points, like the whole idea of what's his name being back, the Conehead dude,
Ki-Adi-Mundi. That was Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ki-Adi-Mundi is back. No reason for it. He even says in the Clone Wars, or not the Clone Wars, maybe the first one. He says that the Sith hasn't been seen for 1,000 years. Well, here's 100 years earlier. We saw a dude with red lightsaber.
That's why they showed him.
Well, they're talking
Yeah,
about.
shoehorn in some kind of bullshit.
No. That scene in particular, when the green girl, Venestra, is talking to Soul.
Yeah.
She is talking to the side and not letting Ki-Adi-Mundi hear the conversation because they're trying to keep it all hidden. This is the Jedi hiding it. So Ki-Adi-Mundi doesn't find out about it.
So,
Well,
can I ask a question about
dumb as shit.
Ki-Adi-Mundi?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did they make the penis on his head bigger for this show?
No, it's smaller, actually, I think.
It looks bigger.
All right.
Come
Dan,
on.
you get on that and do a comparison for us, okay?
Give us some measurements.
Yeah, and I want to know on the hair tuft, too.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Little cum shot at the top there.
So there's some out of the series like comments that have been made by the writer of the episode that he's not a Sith. That like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he might not be a Sith.
Might not be.
Just because he
Might
has
not
a
be.
red lightsaber and he dabbles in the dark side doesn't make him a Sith.
Yeah.
Because the
Or
witch
this is
like,
the
right
foundation
precursor to
of
everything.
it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to connect to Sith. I'm 99% sure.
Well, I think it connects to Plagueis. That's my guess.
I would think so.
But
I would think so.
here's the thing. In the show, okay, you have a Jedi take his own life because of how horrible this situation went down. And if it was simply a mistake of saving one kid and letting one kid die, that dude wasn't even in the room. So there has to be way more to it. And if
What do you
not,
mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? The
okay,
kid guy
he wasn't even in the room when the bridge collapsed.
Dude, okay. Did you not notice at the end of the episode, his face is all messed up on the spaceship? That's where he lost his eye.
Yeah.
They show him on the background, so we
Right.
haven't seen what happens to him yet.
Right. So like, what's the deal? Like, and then you feel like I have this feeling like, oh, did they just go in and slaughter these witches and take this kid? Like, was this all like a Jedi thing? Because they didn't want, or maybe they knew that something about what the witches had done, and they weren't going to let them get away with it. I don't know.
Oh, if the way it's going to go down, right? Because everything else has been pretty darn predictable so far. Like all the major plot twists, there's a twin. The Jar Jar Binks guy is going to end up being the Sith Lord or whatever. He's the bad guy. All those major plot twists so far have been pretty predictable, right? It's going to be the Jedi came to collect Osha. The fire happened. May came in and says something to the rest of the witches. The witches try and keep everybody away from Osha and May, and somebody throws the first stone and a battle goes down, and the Jedi get out of control because of something that happens and end up slaughtering all the people. And the only person who wasn't there for that part is Soul, because he was looking for May and Osha, or looking for Osha. And that's why he walks in and sees all the dead bodies with Osha and is surprised, right? He's got this surprised, shocked look on his face. Like
Maybe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? So there's your episode 7, and then it's going to set up whatever big thing is in episode 8. And yeah, there's probably your manipulator, your Sith person was there in the temple the whole time, pulling the strings or thread or whatever you want to call it on everybody there, and caused the whole thing, right?
Sure.
So there's a big plot. There's your show.
I also think that that within the show itself, it has broken away. Okay, so it feels like it's broken away from a lot of the canon of Star Wars, which you can argue if you want or not, because I mean Disney threw all the canon out, the expanded universe stuff out a long time ago, so I kind of don't really care. But in the show, when they say, "Oh, could May still be alive?" Right? What's his nuts was like, "No, there's no way she can't be. It's impossible. No, she's dead. Whatever." Right? But then as soon as he hooks up with Osha, and Osha's like, she's alive. He's like, yeah, I totally believe you. Like, you kind of switch sides pretty quick on that. Or you were lying the whole time and you knew she was alive. Or had a feeling she was alive and just didn't want to admit to anybody that you kind of knew that.
We know
Like,
we know they've been lying. They've all been lying. You know, they've all been hiding something.
Yeah,
So-
it's just...
So they did something a little messed up. But I think it's like, I think they were set up to do it. I think.
What? Yeah, why were they on the planet? Yeah. They were stationed on that planet. They were stationed on that planet. So they were put in a situation where they were eventually going to come across these witches and these kids.
Mm-hmm. They've been watching them for a while. They've been checking them out. There's something going on. They're investigating something.
What? Can I ask a question? Wasn't there like a comment in the episode like the planet's supposed to be like uninhabited, right?
There was in episode 3 there was something about like they weren't expecting they weren't expecting to find anybody there.
Yeah. Why are they stationed on an uninhabited planet?
It's a good question.
They knew. They lied. Because that's where she makes the comment, oh, the all-powerful, all-knowing Jedi had no idea that we were here. So they knew. Mm-hmm. They lied. They knew that they were there.
The question is, who lied? The 4 Jedi that were there, or the people who sent the Jedi there?
I don't know.
All right, let's talk more about episode 4.
Episode 4. Okay. So, a few things. I like the Kata Mundi little throwback there. I enjoy that. I like that little connective tissue there. One of the things I found out, the little girl who played May, that she's Rue from Hunger Games. I don't know if anybody caught that. It's actually May, the main May, not the girl May, the regular May.
Yeah,
the older one. Yeah, May / Osha. That is Rue. I didn't catch that until this last time, and I'm like, I know, because we just watched Hunger Games, and obviously she looks a lot older now. So, my favorite character.
Hunger Games later too, by the way.
Yeah, my favorite character other than the tracker, Basil.
Shut the fuck up.
Basil, great.
You dumb motherfucker! I swear to God. You are lying to us right now.
I have no problem with Basil.
Basil is the dumbest shit I've ever seen on TV.
Why?
Okay, first of all, you're tracking a Wookiee Jedi, okay, with, 14 other Jedi, and you need a beaver to freaking sniff them out?
I love it.
I love it.
No,
I love it. Because you will say, it's bullshit that the fucking Ewoks were able to take on an Imperial army because they're just a bunch of fucking teddy bears. But you need a goddamn beaver to sniff out a fucking... It doesn't make any sense. Which side are you going to be on? Pick a side.
Wait. I didn't ever argue the other one you just said.
What?
You just accused me of saying that the Ewoks couldn't take on the Empire. When have I ever said they couldn't?
I feel like you hate Return of the Jedi. Like, what? Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie ever, but then Return of the Jedi comes along. Again,
there's no ever chance for nuance with you people. What's going on here? It's either you hate it or you love it. It's either the greatest thing you ever saw or it's absolute garbage.
I just feel like Return of the Jedi is a great, happy, wonderful movie that I enjoy the shit out of.
I love Return of the Jedi.
So anyway, whatever.
Love it. I love Return of the Jedi.
But no, seriously,
I love Return of the Jedi so much that when it came out, I changed my favorite color from blue to green.
Aww.
And then I went back to blue as I got older because Empire Strikes Back is way better.
Hey, the orange lightsaber was pretty cool in episode 4. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That was
are we talking about A New Hope?
No. Acolyte, one of the Jedi on the when they
they had an orange one.
So a straight up orange lightsaber,
which is cool, but it's too close to red, man. I don't know.
Well, then you had the orangish red from Ahsoka. They weren't quite red,
right?
So
I get this idea.
Anyway, so okay. My favorite character in the show is Jackie. And I want that character to be in everything. She's the best actor of all of them. She's the girl Padawan.
Oh,
with like the few spikes.
The little red.
Yes, and her
Yep.
and her species has been in Star Wars before.
Right. She's also like she's like Data.
No, like Data. Oh, her the way
Yeah,
she
her
acts.
skin is all one
No,
tone.
one. No, it's not all one
like
tone.
Data,
It's
like
many
Data
tones.
was one tone.
No,
I know.
which one are you talking about? What are
The
you
girl
doing?
Padawan.
The girl
Yeah.
Padawan.
Mhm.
She's got many tones on her skin. Lots
Okay.
of tones, like 4 or 5
Right.
at least. Anyway,
Mhm.
her species was also in Star Wars before. So you were talking about last time
Mhm.
how all the
Oh.
species are like, oh, why are they showing all these new species? This
Yep.
is an old callback from your favorite movie of all time, Return of the Jedi.
Mm.
One of the dancers in Jabba's palace is that species.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
Anyway, yes. We're gonna see some Jedi die next week
No.
because there's lots of red shirts, and that was my favorite part about it. Lots
They
of red
actually
shirts
had
are on that
red
planet.
on their freaking, like, they even say, the writer was even saying, yeah, we put red on there.
Just put a little red
red.
armband around them and be like,
Yep.
you're gonna die, you're gonna
Yep.
die, you're gonna die. So there's about
Exact-
3 or 4 of them for sure gonna go.
Yeah, as soon as they were like walking and there's like 14 of them, I'm like, hey, Renee, you know, not a lot of these people are coming back. These people are dying.
All right, so is Kamir, if I said his name right, is he the dude in the mask or is that somebody else? And I loved the way he floated down in the background. I thought that was an incredibly good entrance
Oh,
scene.
yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
His helmet seems very familiar to me.
Like it's a Knight of Ren type of thing.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Cool. I thought it was badass.
It looked like it's like almost like a smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when he lifted up his head, it's like there were like teeth on it, and I'm
Yep.
like, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of dumb. So that's one thing I thought was kind of dumb.
So so the episode after credits, right, and after intro is only 28 minutes long.
Yeah. It's shorty.
How many minutes of the episode is May on screen?
I don't know.
10,
Not very much. Not very
8,
much. Yeah.
7, 5, you know.
Probably
May?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 maybe.
Maybe 6, 7 minutes. Yeah, let's say 7
I
minutes and 26 seconds.
There you go. In 7 minutes and 26 seconds, and then we get to the last 5 minutes of the episode. May goes from trying to figure out how she's going to kill this next Jedi with her bare hands with no weapons to I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to the Jedi, turning myself in.
Well, here, I think that explain. Okay, if you go back to episode 3 when she starts the fire, it seemed out of character, right? You even said that didn't seem. She flipped so fast. That's why I was like, is she a doppelganger? Because it didn't seem right. And the other thing is, you don't have any evidence that these 4, in my opinion, there's no evidence that I've seen that these 4 Jedi deserve the hatred and animosity that she was showing them.
Well, she kind of figured out that she's been lied to, I think. She just realized
okay, cool,
her sister...
you've been lied to, but
so,
it doesn't...
Hey, wait, no, because she just saw her sister alive for the first time, right?
Right.
So that's the last time we see her before episode 4. Okay,
yes,
she's
but
like,
I'm
holy
saying,
crap,
like,
my sister's alive. What's going on here? Now she's with this dude who seems to know way more. And as they're walking along the whole time, he continually slips, whether it's by design or not, I don't know yet. But he's slipping and saying a little bit more, a little too much, not enough. All of a sudden he doesn't. He backtracks on his words. She knows something's up now. Now she gets it. There's a lot of manipulation, and it's all tied into the person that she is supposed to be doing this job for.
Mm-hmm.
So...
But when she decides she's not going to do it, he's not there.
Yeah, no, she traps him.
No, she's like gone off. Like they split up.
He's going to go get water.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it was.
No,
and
she wants to rest, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Right. He wants to keep going.
He wants to keep going. She doesn't. So by that point, she's already made that decision.
The question I have is, did he then go kill the Wookiee Jedi?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless there's another one there. That's it. It's yes.
I think he's playing.
Is it? Well, I mean, is it Kamir or is it
He's
Is
in my
Kamir still
opinion,
hanging there, or is
I
Kamir
don't
the
know.
big boss manipulating, pulling all the strings, or is there another one?
Okay, so all right. Let me ask you a question. What is the point of this series? Is this series supposed to set up Phantom Menace?
No.
What's it supposed? Is this going to set up, the next
I'm
Mandalorian? Or
guessing
whatever?
it sets up the beginning of the Sith,
Yeah.
or the
Or
rebirth, of the Sith.
At the
Like
very
the
least,
foundation. It's the foundation of the Sith.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's setting up Phantom Menace. Because yes, unless they're retconning something, which a lot of
Or
people
it's
think
setting
they're
up
retconning.
Palpatine, and then it's setting up Episode 7 where he
Okay.
got whatever.
Guys.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
mean it's
Or is it self-contained and just supposed to show like some glimpse of?
I don't think it's self-contained.
No, it's not self-contained.
I
I mean, we don't know. I mean, maybe it is, and if it's self-contained, I'll be like, well, that was stupid.
Well, it should have been written a lot better if it's it's just so poorly done. Like you have 28-minute episode where people just walk through the woods, and that's not an episode of television. It's not. I mean, granted, 99% of NCIS is that, but
NCIS is like a work of art compared to the writing on this so far. Come on.
I don't know, bro.
I can't get through an episode of NCIS.
Let's not throw those kind of daggers at
I'm
it.
in season 9. I'm in season 9. We made it to season 9.
See, that's your problem, Dan.
No, that's not his problem.
Not my problem at all. I know exactly what I'm getting from NCIS.
Yeah. Well, okay, so there I understand why he would go into the woods and hide. Same reason that Yoda went to Dagobah. He went to a place that had so many life forms and so much life diversity that you couldn't pick them up from outer space.
So
there's just too many life forms. You'd have to go in and
you
find
got to
them.
get a little weasel guy that can track
You have to
them
go in
down.
and find them.
I thought Yoda went to Dagobah because there was a competing. There's that whole dark spot there that hid his presence because of the whole yin yang thing of the Force. So that was supposed to cancel him out, right?
Yeah, sure, but you know, there's also when Luke gets there, he doesn't know where to find them because of all the. He says there's so much life form, like so many life forms down there, right? And then his ship loses control because Yoda's pulling him to him.
So
I feel like that character, that Jin character, that's what his name is, Jenks, whatever. He's playing that Yoda, the character that we
right?
No, the guy that she's with, the herbalist.
Come here.
Yeah, he's playing dumb.
Yeah,
he's not dumb. Like the whole time, me and Renee, I'm like, this guy's not an idiot. This is all an act. It's been an act since day one. They wouldn't have. Okay, first of all, this is my opinion. They wouldn't have hired him to play this part if he was just going to be an idiot the whole time, because they could have hired a less experienced person or somebody, an actor that they could pay less money to. This isn't a theory, but anyways, I just feel like no, he's definitely the guy. And like when he shows up at the end, when that dude shows up with the helmet and the saber and everything, and I'm looking at the body structure, I'm like, it looks like him.
Could be, yeah. That's how I was. Yeah. I was like trying to figure out height wise and all that, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could be. I mean, again, it could all just be easily, but there are things in there that I think are stupid and that are just weak, just super weak sauce. And I think some of the dialogue, like, okay, I'm not against the use of pronouns in the space show because there are different life forms. However, they didn't have to make it an awkward moment. They could have just been like, Basil over there, they're with us. That's the other thing. The most offensive thing I found in that whole show was her little robot and this guy were staring at each other, and then she's like, "Hey, is that thing with us?" Like, he's on the ship. He's wearing a Jedi robe. What the fuck? Of course he's with us. No, he's just. We don't know. He followed us on. I don't know.
Oh, it's civilian robe.
He wasn't wearing civilian.
Yeah, he had the same thing he had on. They both had the same robe.
They had the same thing.
Yeah. There was
She
a
said
comment about it.
she
and then they
didn't want
called
to,
Really?
but she had to wear it anyway.
Yeah,
I thought. Okay, I did not pick that up, man.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
thought that was the more. To me, that was the more offensive thing. I'm like, well, why would he be with you guys? Like, if he wasn't with you, you know? I'm like, whatever. And then like, when she was talking to the guy with the dumb hair.
Yord.
Yeah, Yord.
Yord.
She says, hey,
I was
Yord.
really hoping Yord was going to do something so I can come up with
Yord-
another Yord
Yord
title.
was like, Yord was like,
You had
he's
big
just
plans
like-
for Yord. It hasn't done much.
he just talked down to her,
Yord's,
and
Yord's not doing
Yord
enough for me.
So Yord talked down to her, and I'm like, it just felt really dumb. Like, why would he do that? I mean, maybe he has like little respect for her, but still,
She talked down to him.
nah. She was asking him about the beaver guy, like, hey, what's going on with the beaver guy or whatever, and he just like, the fuck are you asking? It came off that way. Maybe that's not how it was meant, but it just seemed like I was like, the fuck?
No, because then he like gave up the whole plan, and then she like did the sarcastic. Oh yeah, great plan, wonderful, great speech. She had that whole bit too.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
They have
that's
that
right.
the back and forth. Actually, I that's some of the. While I agree,
That
there's a lot of
struck me.
bad dialogue, and I don't know if it's is the dialogue or if it's the delivery is stilted in a lot of places, but I think their dialogue's been pretty good.
Yeah, and so I think the biggest issue we have with this show and why I think it brings so much criticism is because you have, you have a group of writers and people who they really want to, how do I say this? They want to put to the forefront a more diverse crew, like set, and people, like cast. That's what I'm trying to say, and which is totally cool, and I have no problem with that. But I think if you want to say, if you say, hey, with this show we're gonna make a statement politically or whatever, you have to, like, that writing has to be up there. It has to be good writing. It has to be respectful of the existing material. It has to be. I think it can't shit on even if you don't like the predecessor's viewpoints or whatever. Like, you can't shit on him. Like, you need to like pay homage to Star Wars. And I think where there's a lot of, and this may just be, as you said, Justin, just simply misunderstanding the delivery of the lines, the acting of the lines, but there is like, there are fans who are angry that they were like, they feel like, and I don't think that's the majority of them that are just like straight up hate it for the sake of hating it. I feel like they feel like, there was disrespect there. That's what I'm kind of seeing a little bit.
When the Phantom Menace came out, there was a really huge blogger, Harry Knowles. He had Ain't It Cool News. It was one of the biggest movie sites out there at the time. It was like up there with like Chud.com.
Sure, yeah,
and a few others. Ain't It Cool was like one of like the big ones out there because they were like the first ones with like the Star Wars scoops and everything. After Phantom Menace came out, the outcry was, and quoted on that site, and then echoed for 2 decades maybe, George Lucas raped my childhood. Remember that quote?
I mean,
so that was something that was like through the internet everywhere. Like, George Lucas raped my childhood. That was the review that was given by one of the people on Ain't It Cool. I believe it was just like not even like one of the main writers. It was more of like a commenter. But that comment blew up and became everything. And I don't know if anybody's going to share that anymore, because now we're getting to a part where people are like, oh, like the Acolyte is ruining everything that Star Wars ever was, without really giving any example of like what actually is ruined. There's not one thing that's been ruined in Star Wars by this show. Like, if you don't like it, fine. another show will come out. I'm sure you'll love it. There's another
just
season of Andor's coming out. I'm sure you're going to be fine with that, unless that's the other one you don't like. Who knows? Because people hated on Andor for a while too. So I don't know, like, when people say that the reasoning is that this is like destroying the lore and the canon of Star Wars, what part of it is doing that? Because it doesn't change like anything that's happened in any stuff in the time frame that we saw, like the stuff that we know.
The only thing I've really heard so far in that is if this ends up being a Sith character and it goes back to the comment made in Clone Wars or whatever, like, hey, the Sith haven't been seen in a millennium. That's the big thing. Right. And it's a stupid thing to even hone in on. It's not that big of a freaking
agree.
That's really nitpicky. I mean, let's just say what it is. This is a mediocre at best show so far. And it's not very good. It's not super bad. I don't hate it. Like, I won't play like this is trash. I'll never ever watch it again. But there's nothing about these shows except I do. The end of that last episode makes me all right. I do want to see what happens next in that scene, but I really could care less what happens in the rest of the show, if that makes sense. Right now, I have no attachment to any of the characters at all. I have no investment in finding out what the rest of the thing that happened in the temple. I don't care what the witches were, unless there's some long connect the dots and they really are like related to the witches of Dathomir or something like that. That I don't know how they're getting there because they definitely don't seem to be there. But
I didn't see any green mist. I was really hoping for some green mist. That was my disappointment. Yeah. Episode 3 is the weakest of all of them. I 100% agree with everybody there. Yeah. I liked the last episode. It was very short. Could have been longer. I enjoyed it. I watched every episode twice. Every single one of the episodes is better on second viewing, in my opinion. I actually like the characters better. So I'm actually down with some of these characters. I know you say you don't like any.
I didn't say that. I said I have no attachment.
Yeah, I have no attachment to any of them either.
Yeah, but you also said you want to see what happens in the scene. You don't care about anything else. Like, I want to see where this goes with the dark side force stuff. I want to see how it unravels. I want to see where it's connected, because I know down the road I'm going to see another show that might like have Darth Plagueis in there. It might be the story of how Palpatine rises and all that and becomes Darth Sidious. This would connect to that. I'm interested in that kind of stuff. I like the lore of it. I forgive a lot of the dumb stuff, and I will forget. I don't know. I'll die on the hill that says like, yeah, I don't get offended by any of it. I don't like get mad or think it's stupid. I mean, if I'm going to talk about stupid, the Vespa scenes in Boba Fett are some of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible.
I agree 100%.
However, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to rewatch Boba Fett, because why not? It's a show that's got Boba Fett and Rancors, and that scene where he drops the seismic charge into the Sarlacc pit is freaking great. You know, that was an awesome scene. And the Sand People stuff is kind of hit or miss with me, but the back to tank got a little old. But,
I get it. I get that you. I just want to know why you're so forgiving on this show when it seems like you're extremely like Justin. You're one of my closest friends, but you're also super opinionated on like a lot of shit, and you do not hold back on stuff.
Yeah,
and I just don't get it on this. It isn't written well. The acting is abysmal.
No, because I disagree there. I think some of the acting's abysmal. I think some of it's really good. I think it's a mixed bag of acting.
I think it was cast really poorly. You have twin girls who have the same fucking haircut, and they haven't seen each other in 24 years or whatever it's been, or 7 years or whatever. It's just, there are things that are dumb as shit. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Mace hair is like...
The writing in this show makes the whole Rose Finn writing seem like a work of art.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the whole Finn and Rose stuff to really.
I'm fine with that stuff too. I don't know. Like, maybe like it's when you say that, maybe it's because the older I get, the things that I want to invest my time in, I'm going to enjoy. And so when I watch a show like this, I'm watching for the stuff that I enjoy. And the things that I take out of it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I watch this like single part where, there's I get excited when they use like like a recording device or like the translator. Like there's a like little scene where she's talking about trying to track down the Wookiee, because again, Jackie is my favorite character in the show. I think she's awesome, and she's got like this translation device. She's talking to a dude, it's like a big hairy dude going to the forest, and the device is translating. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They got a little translator. I've never seen one of those in Star Wars. I like that, because that's like one of the things that might pop up again. So I like looking for little details like that. I'm like, okay, oh, what was this planet? Oh, they had that same planet in the Clone Wars. Later on, there's this battle at that planet, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like looking at that kind of stuff. I mean, what are you going to throw at me that I'm going to like freak out about? I've already been through Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Like really? I mean, come on. Like we've been through Jar Jar, guys. We've been through the Rise of Skywalker, where somehow Palpatine returned. It's not like, and if we're going to talk about bad dialogue and bad acting, holy crap. Like,
all of
then in that case, I don't know why the fanboys aren't going, this is the most realistic Star Wars thing we've had to date. I mean, really. No. I mean, it's just like, if it's like, yeah. I mean, it's just like when it's all said and done, this is just going to be another chapter in Star Wars. There's going to be a lot of stupid stuff in it. There's going to be a lot of stuff that people might come back to and go, oh, that's kind of cool. They planted the seeds to something awesome there. And that's what I hope. I want to like it. I want to like it. And that's part of it. And if it comes out to be stupid, I'll say it was stupid. But I'm not gonna say overall judgment.
I don't think you're gonna ever say that. I think you're always gonna stick with.
That's not true, because I really don't like Boba Fett.
You said before it even aired,
I really don't like the Boba Fett show.
The most excited thing I'm waiting for.
I'm so excited about it, and I'm excited about Tuesday. I'm excited about watching the next episode. And I know Dan is too. And I hope Basil like kills that Sith guy at the end.
The little beaver dude?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
No, you'd hate that. You would absolutely hate that.
That
was the maddest I've seen you get in a while, Chuck, talking about that guy.
Okay. Does the beaver guy need to be in there? Sure, why not?
The best part is you hated on it so much, and then you explained exactly why they would need something like that to find him after that.
No, I understood why it was there, but like, no. First of all, why was there that scene with where he gets mad at the little robot, and the little robot's mad at him? Like, I don't even understand. God, I hate that little robot. I hate that little fucking robot.
We had 28 minutes of episode, and they wasted 2 minutes of the episode on that stupid scene.
So it's kind of like, when like Jar Jar pushes the thing and the little droid pops up and he's kicking around.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That's what it was.
Punch its nose.
Yeah.
Punch it in the nose or whatever. Oh my God.
All right. Let's. Does anybody else have anything to fill in on this? Because I was going to say we could do a hard stop, and then I wanted to mention something else before we leave.
I actually got a couple of things other things I did want to talk about a little bit, but we can maybe shelf one of them. Second season of House of the Dragon premiered Sunday. The premiere was excellent. The series I think is actually really strong, which is probably because the book it's based on is complete. And I think they do a really good job on the writing. And the first episode is very, very good and has one of the most shocking, like, it's coming if you read the book, but it has one of the most shocking scenes at the end of episode 1 that, are you going to watch it at all?
I don't have HBO right now. When I get HBO, we will watch.
Okay. I'll hold it for at least a week. I'm sure you'll hear about it a little bit as the week goes on, but the ending scene is pretty shocking, to say the least.
In context, everything you know from season 1, or
everything you know of all the shocking things that have come in Game of Thrones, Red Wedding and all that, right? So there has actually been a lot of comparison to what happened at the Red Wedding for the last scene in episode 1.
Color me intrigued.
Yeah. So, yep. But if you read the book, you know what's coming. So,
I have not read the book. Yeah. I stopped those books. I stopped reading them when I realized that he's never going to finish that series.
Yeah, well, House of Dragon is like an anthology of history of the Seven Kingdoms. So
No, I get it. It's
yeah.
everything happens before that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
you.
So it's part of the book, and when you're kind of like, well, how are they going to do this? And they did it, and the way they did it is just like, oh crap, they just did that. So really good. If you watched season 1, watch season 2, episode 1 was fantastic. So, but we lost an amazing actor today.
Oh yeah, shit, we did. Yes, we did.
And I want to point out, like, probably my 4 favorite Donald Sutherland roles. So my absolute favorite Donald Sutherland role, Oddball and Kelly's Hero, is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
So good. My second favorite is he's the professor in Animal House.
Yes, he is.
He's the pothead professor in Animal House. And then he plays Ronald, the arsonist, in Backdraft.
Yeah, he does. Yes, absolutely.
Got some amazing scenes with Robert De Niro in that movie. The movie's good. I love it.
That movie is good.
Not highly rated, but
I'm surprised you didn't mention MASH.
You know, I'm like, when people are like, oh, MASH, and I'm like, he was at MASH, and I'm like, I don't know if I ever really saw the movie MASH. So, in the show MASH, not really my cup of tea. Some of it I like. I love the open theme. I just not my cup of tea. I don't know. I don't hate it or anything. It just, probably because I saw it a lot when I was a kid, and it's not really a kid kind of show,
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
But also, President Snow and all the Hunger Games, right? He's plays such a good villain in that movie, in that series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
he's a pretty good meme too, from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I believe it was.
Yeah. Oh, great version of that movie that he was in too.
But he's got if you see 80s point,
I don't have to go.
I'm going to put it in the video. I'm going to put it in our opening or closing credits.
Yeah. But his line in Kelly's Hero, when he's sitting at the cafe and they go, "Oddball, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm drinking some wine, eating some cheese, and we're catching some rays." I use that line all the time with my kids and my family. Like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, eating some cheese, drinking some wine, catch some rays.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Right.
Yeah, he was a hell of an actor, dude.
Yeah.
So sorry, Kiefer.
Oh yeah, that's right. I always forget the Sutherland the Sutherland boys.
Yep. So, moment of silence for Donald Sutherland, everyone. Last thing I wanted to talk about was the Naboo movie.
The what? Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
Dude, oh my god, it's so good.
It's unreal.
So good.
Did you finish it? I
didn't finish it, but I got almost to the end.
Did you? Okay, so you got to who Anakin?
Oh yeah.
All right. So for those, the Naboo movie was put on by a comedy troupe, and then some really good comedians all got on stage, sort of dressed the parts, and read a line by line script of the Phantom Menace, like the original script.
It was so good.
Like there's parts and like bits in there that aren't in the movie, but they read the original George Lucas script of a Phantom Menace. And Matt Gorley, famously known from the Conan O'Brien podcasts, is incredible as one of like Newt Gunray and Boss Nass. Like incredible. It was Moynihan. What's his first name? Does the Darth Maul and Yoda? Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live.
Bobby Moynihan, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
the Darth Maul shit is hilarious.
The Darth Maul part where he comes out and he's like, I did this $700 worth of makeup. And he does the bit where they introduce Darth Maul in Phantom Menace, and he just stares at the screen. He just stares and then runs off a stage.
Yep,
Brilliant.
it was so good.
But the fact that Haley Joel Osment is Anakin Skywalker, and the way he talks to Padme, and the way Padme talks to him is so good. Because she just brushes him off constantly, and he's like almost like a creeper.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And the best part is Haley Joel Osment actually tried out for the role of Anakin back in the day.
That's what I was just looking that up. He had to have been that age where he probably would have tried out for that role.
Yeah. It'd probably been a good pick too.
I thought it was awesome.
It'd have been better if, like, how he looks now, though, and he played Anakin now. Would be
yeah.
He's like 4'3".
Just gonna send you guys. Check this out in our Google chat. I don't know if you could flash it on the YouTube video.
That is awesome.
Somebody put his face on there with the full beard. Oh man,
it's pretty great. Yeah, that's pretty great.
I highly recommend listening to it. And you know what, Justin, you're absolutely right about my criticism of the Acolyte, because there were moments in that and I was like, is this really the dialogue that was in this show, in this movie? Some of it was horrendous. The Boss Nass stuff.
It's terrible.
I cannot believe that this was legit.
It's terrible.
I saw that movie 7 times in the theater. 7 times.
I saw it that much, and then I saw it again when it came out in 3D.
I still think there are moments in that movie where you just, like, you're a kid again. I don't care that it's dumb and the midichlorian scene usually kills it for me, but there are moments in that, and even in Acolyte, there were moments yesterday when I was watching it where I was like, this is Star Wars. Like, there were moments, like, you just felt like, oh, yes, this is what it all needs to be. You know,
like there's some moments in 3 that I really liked. I loved like when they were just kind of like on that planet and the Wookiees like working on that speeder, just banging away at it. And I like the way then they go up in the ship, and the one Jedi just pokes her to take her blood, just like they did to Anakin. It's identical. It's identical.
Yeah.
Like I like how they just like take your blood. Like that would never fly. That would never fly in America.
They did not say the word. The word has still been banned.
Yeah, I wish they'd just come out and say it, or like they'll do like M count. M count is what they say in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Bad Batch. That's some Star Wars stuff that I kind of fell off of. I had a hard time with Bad Batch. Anyway, I haven't watched the last season. I just don't care.
I think the one thing people need to do with Star Wars is freaking just pretend you're a kid. And just the wonder of it. Like when they're walking through the woods and she's like,
if you hate it,
they walk into those trees and you're like, dude, don't touch that bump on that tree, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like I knew like right away. I was like, the whole thing was, I was telling Renee, I was like, you don't know. You just go down to this planet. You have no idea what's down there. Like you could step on a mushroom that could like, spread its spores up in your face. And then the next thing you know, you're a mushroom. Like you don't know. You can't just go walking around weird planets without knowing stuff, touching things.
They do in Star Wars all the time. It's like what they do.
I'm like, as soon as she touched that thing, I'm like, oh, here we go. Now it's going to be a bug or something that's going to try and eat your face. Or it collects some of your DNA and it has your face. That would be crazy.
So I totally flash back to Phantom Menace when they did the bug scene, and I'm like, there's going to be a bigger bug, and somebody's going to say there's
there's always a bigger fish.
Mm-hmm. That would have been a good callback right there. That would have been a good callback.
I like that he came at the light and attacked the lightsaber.
I think it was important, though. I think it was important, though, that and I think it's a little stupid, but she's like, oh, I touched that thing and now it's dead. Like, she's like jinxed. Like, she's like this bad. Like, no, it was an animal. It was acting on instinct and it was going to eat you, and they saved your life. Like, that's the drama part of this, which is kind of stupid. Like, get over yourself, kid. You're not, the fucking universe doesn't doesn't revolve around you.
Damn it, Chuck. I think I'm
going
gonna have to put an explicit on this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We might have like gone way over the count.
Do we know the name of the next
We're not getting
episode?
monetized, so
That's true. Who cares?
yeah.
Fuck it.
Do we know the name of the next episode?
No.
Because my take on her and what she said there was more along the lines of we just got a glimpse of why she left the Jedi 6 years before, right? Because she left it like 6 years before that, right? After 10 years of training, she left.
She left. She left because she couldn't forgive. Not that she couldn't forgive, but she couldn't let it go. She couldn't let go her past.
But there had to have been some focal point, and also based on the previews of the whole series, I think you get glimpses of her actually being able to control the Force finally. Like she lost her connection to the Force for some reason during her training.
I think it's there. She just doesn't hone it or keep up with it. So
there's some comments in the first episode or the second episode between her and Yord about it, right? About the whole thing.
It's kind of like how Obi-Wan lost his it's like Obi-Wan, like the whole series was how Obi-Wan gets his groove back.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't use the Force in the beginning either.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that atrophies if you don't use it. It's like any muscle.
If you don't use it, do you lose it?
You lose it. Yeah, you lose the Force. No, I don't know, man. I think that maybe that's some of the things too that are just kind of annoying. Is you're like the drama for the sake of drama. It's like, come on, man, get over yourself.
Get over yourself. You just killed something. Big deal.
Yeah, you crazy twin.
Yeah, your Force dyad twins. It's something else the kids are gonna hate later on.
What are you gonna do?
I'm out of here, guys. It's late. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. All right.
I gotta be back. I'm heading up north tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show and watching us on YouTube. Hey, press that like button and that little bell thing.
I did get 3 green pelicans. I got 3 green pelicans, by the way.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
I said that must be good. if you hear this, and,
if you hear a green pelican, that's right.
Come tell me. And I had a couple texts, and somebody walked up to me. So Charlie, Bryn, Owen.
Well,
thank you very much.
If you've listened this far, put down some parental advisory stickers in the in there.
Yeah.
So
I'll put something in there, but I will also say that. I was told that they like it when we fight.
Okay.
Like I said, of course, I'm going to have to take the opposite opinion.
Okay.
Stupid. It's all stupid. All right, guys. Let's do this again next week, and then
absolutely.
We'll fight about Acolyte. We got about 4 more times we could fight about this. That's exciting.
Excellent. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to the end.
All right. The music should be starting about right now, and this is when we say like, subscribe again, and all that other stuff. And peace out.
Peace out.
Okay.